Best trash anime of 2023. You know what it is, you know the gist. Let's get right into the best of the best that trashy anime of 2023 had to offer. And I want to say that before we get into my top 5 best animes to come out of that year, I just want to say that this one is going to be a pretty special one because when we go into the honorable mentions list, this was going to be nothing but hentai in the honorable mentions. First and foremost, there's not even like one single anime from my honorable mentions that's listed on here. So, like I said, there's a good chance that I may have missed a trashy anime from 2023 that I just didn't get a chance to check out. So, if y'all have any recommendations of what shows I should have checked out in 2023, that could be pretty much fun, bad, or really hilarious, or definitely really interesting to check out nonetheless, please let me know down in the comments down below. But without further ado, let's get into the tops and the honorable mentions. And kicking off our honorable mentions of nothing but hentai, of course, we have Adam's Sweet Agony. This one is a pretty simple, wholesome hentai to say the least. And the reason I gave this hentai a shot is for one reason and one reason only. If you know the voice actors in the show, there's one voice actor here that stands out for probably being her first and possibly her only voice acting credit in a hentai, and that's Kahu Shibuya. I had to check this out because of Kahu Shibuya. Obviously, like if anyone who's like a huge porn enthusiast knows, Kahu Shibuya is a legend, a classic for a reason. She's obviously now well known for streaming IRL, etc. And I definitely respect her to this day and still follow her pretty fondly to say the least. But that was mainly the reason why I checked this out because she even like wholesomely advertised the show a lot when this first came out, and it was pretty good. It was definitely worth checking out nonetheless. So if you're a huge Kaho Shibuya fan, definitely check this hentai out. It's definitely gonna leave you happy nonetheless. Next, we have the Sunero series. This one is 6 episodes in length. Now, to be fair, not every episode came out of 2023 that year. There's a few episodes that came out of 2024, but it's still on the honorable mentions because this is just a more wholesome hentai in a nutshell with some really good, clean animation to back up. Each 6 episodes being completely different from one another, so there's nothing that's like connecting to each other whatsoever. But it's really good, really wholesome. Definitely T Rex showcasing a really wholesome side, to say the least. Next, we have Secret Mission Undercover Agents Never Back Down. This one might be the dumbest hentai to come out of that year because it's about two spies trying to make sure that they save the world and stop a criminal organization. And how do they do that, of course? They do that by engaging some weird, perverted sex acts to make sure they get into the good graces of the criminal organization. And then it leads to like this weird romance side of things where it just be like, no, we can't be together. Like, what we're doing, it's part of the job. You have to remember this is part of the job. And it's just like, whatever, I guess. It's really dumb. It's stupid, but it's somehow animated really good. Voice acting is pretty incredible, and I'll leave it at that. Next, Married Couple Swap. Now, this one is under the same studio that actually gave us Adam Sweet Agony, but with Married Couple Swap, this one may be a little controversial for the honorable mentions because, again, it's pretty much about what would happen if two married couples that have been best friends for years decide to switch and decide to, hey, I'm going to sleep with your wife and you're going to sleep with my wife and see how it goes. And I'm not going to lie, I understand that this is going to be a bit of a taboo subject to dive on, but believe me when I say that this is like honestly pretty fun, bad, and also really good for a hentai that's only 8 episodes and each one being 6 minutes in length. So it's not bad. I just wish that it was a little bit more longer per episode, which has been the main issue with Studio Hokiboshi in general. Next, though, we have Bonu Chanwa Dashitai. This is undoubtedly a top 3 best hentai of not only this year, but possibly of the decade at the moment. This is not only just more wholesome vibes, but if you know what Bonu means, Bonu Chanwa Dashitai would mean, it's a basically it's lactation milk more or less, and it involves a lot of milk. Let's put it that way. So if you're like a huge milk enthusiast, yeah, Bonyu Chawadashi Tai got you covered. They will make sure you're fed well and not leaving you thirsty to say the least. But this is like really good, high quality hentai. Sukuben Elf Temboki. And while we're at it, this is undoubtedly one of the best elf hentais I've seen in a really long time. For a while now, we've been getting a lot of like really mid to just really shitty elf hentais that just haven't lived up to the best of the best. And Sukuben Elf Temboki by T Rex Studios, even though it's 2 episodes in length, this thing is incredible. It is absolutely holy shit. It captures like it also just captures like the good old classic days of when elf hentai was at its peak in like the early 2010s, and it captured it so well with gorgeous animation, really good story that's just dumb and simple as it gets, and overall like a really wholesome plot that again is really worth checking out. And finally, to wrap up the honorable mentions, is a show that I can't even pop up on my anime list, believe it or not, but it is called My Mother the Animation. This one is, without doubt, I think the best hentai of the year. Between this, Sukuben Elf, and Bonyocho wa Dashtai, this one is super unique because this is a Taiwanese hentai. Yes, you heard that right. A Taiwanese hentai that came out that year, 1 episode long, and my god, this is one of the gorgeous hentais I've seen ever. This is gonna rival that of like the best hentais to come out of recent memory. Like, if you thought that Masterpiece the animation was amazing, My Mother the animation with just 1 episode alone is so freaking amazing. And yes, you could argue the subject matter at hand given the title and what it goes into, but man, you can't deny how fucking gorgeous this thing is. It's so really good. Again, more wholesome vibes all around, and that's what I'll say about this with the honorable mentions. But enough of the honorable mentions. This is all hentai at the end of the day. We gotta talk about the top 5 best trashy animes to come out of that year. At our number 5 spot is a show that I think when this came out, a lot of people were talking about and praising to a degree, and as Tomo-chan is a girl. This show that came out back in 2023 was really wholesome and surprisingly really good with its subject matter for the fact that it's about 2 guys, or I'm sorry, one a guy and a girl that actually have been best friends for years since they've been childhood friends. But the guy that's been friends with Tomo-chan has always believed that Tomo-chan was always a boy. But every time Tomo-chan keeps saying that he's not a boy, that she's a girl, this guy has been so oblivious to thinking otherwise. And it's up to the cast of friends to just break out of them all like, hey, Tomotan is actually a girl, y'all. What the hell are you doing? You've been friends for so many years and now you're so blind by it. And after the main character realizes that, oh shit, my best friend is a girl, it leads like where they start being awkward towards each other, have the whole like romance cliche bullshit of like will they not do that, and all these nervous modes where it's like I'm like, man, I used to be so comfortable like picking Tomo-chan up, and now whenever I pick Tomo-chan up, I feel her so skin. I feel like how kind and gentle she is, and it's just so weird. And it's like, man, it's pulling off all the cliches out of the book, but god damn it, it is so freaking hilarious nonetheless. But yeah, definitely a top 5 best trash anime to come out of that year, respectfully. But at number 4, we move on to Onichan wa Oshimai. Now, this one might be a bit controversial, honestly, realistically, because for one, this is an anime that came out under Studio By, the same people that was responsible for the amazing Mushoku Tensei franchise as of what we know today, and also another wholesome anime that they did drop this year with Ruby Rocks, which I'll definitely talk about in the near future. But Onichan Onimai is definitely their first attempt at a slice of life anime, but with a little bit of a twist where the brother wakes up essentially being woken up that now he's a younger sister, and it's he wakes up because the fact that his younger sister is like a scientist, and the reason she wants to do this is so that he can make his brother disguised as a sister appreciate life and everything around while he's in a different gender, a different role. And in this show, it really just dives into a lot of the wholesome aesthetics and vibes of what makes slice up anime really special, but simultaneously kind of make you want to appreciate life a lot more, especially when it goes to like those really serious and dark moments that really encapsulates like why this show was created in the first place. And I liked it. It was really good. Again, I do think that this is one of the more controversial shows that you will watch for sure. Because again, a lot of the subject matter when it comes to, especially when the boy transforms into a girl, it's going to come off really sexist right off the bat. That is actually pretty present within the first couple of episodes. But like I said, it does pick up. It starts getting really wholesome, and then it starts becoming like really beautifully animated really well to the point that like a lot of humor is like fun, bad, and like really entertaining to say the least. But again, even though this definitely would not be my top three as we see here, only my I'm Now Your Sister is honestly a respectable anime to come out that year that realistically might even pop up my best anime of 2023. But looking at it in the grander scheme of things, I don't think this would make it, unfortunately. But who knows, right? But enough about that, right? We're down with the titty winks here. Let's move on to the top three. At the number three spot, we have a show that, looking at it, has a long fucking title. And I can't even like figure out how to fucking type this shit, but let's see. Hopefully I get this in one go. Oh my god, yes I did. I got a cheat skill in another world and became unrivaled in the real world too. Which honestly, I don't even know if that's the actual full title, so I'm gonna have to pop up the freaking stuff itself and hope that this is right. Oh, yep, that is right. But yeah, this is an anime that came out back in 2023. It's another isekai generic slop, but with a little bit of a twist that actually turns out to be more hilarious and more stupid than I thought. Again, yes, the animation is about super subpar, really garbage. We're talking like it borderlines to being like Berserk 2016 levels of bad. But with that being said, this show does dive into like why the main character wants to be in a different world and how much everyone hates him and shit. And he goes through like this huge transformation where he went from like the ugly bastard piece of shit that he is to where now he's so beautiful and he's so stoic with a damn sword and he can take down enemies. And in the real world, he gets his vengeance on the people that wronged him and fucking put kicked him out of his house and shit. It's really dumb. It's really stupid. But honestly, it is commendable for a show that's trying to be like isekai, fun, bad in a way. Yes, this is not going to be like another trashy isekai that I talked about not that long ago with um, fuck, what was that one isekai? Well, either way, it's not going to be like that one isekai that everyone would reference every now and then. But essentially, oh yeah, it's not going to be like this isekai right here with the Eminence and Shadows. But again, I think for a show that came out during this time period, it was pretty good. It was still fun, bad. I think that this was still really watchable and commendable, to say the least. And even though it did leave off on a cliffhanger, I think that this was pretty solid of a watch nonetheless. All right, but moving on, we go into our number two spot. At the number two spot is a show that I have already referenced already from my worst animes of 2023, and the more I thought about when looking back on my best animes of the best trashy animes of 2023, I had to really put it up there because this show was so goddamn awful, so excruciatingly like what the hell that if you thought that the animation from the cheat scale anime was bad and hilarious, ho, you have not seen our number two spot. I've already talked about it already if you have not watched my worst animes of 2023 video, but it is this. The girl I like forgot her glasses. Like I said, what can truly be said about the show that I already haven't talked about as to why this show is not only one of the worst animes of 2023, but simultaneously, this was one of the best trashy animes of that year. Again, you have characters in here that are just so nonchalant, so stupid, so dumbed down. You have an animation by Gohan Studios that is so weird. Again, the proportions of like how they animate certain perspectives is still the weirdest shit ever. Like my fist coming at you at the camera right now is so fucking weird. Like they have weird perspectives and weird camera angles that are just so legendary at this point that I'm just like, what the fuck am I watching half the time? It felt like I was watching like I felt like what would happen if Attack on Titan was made into a slice of life anime, but it was just made in like the worst way possible. Gohan's fucking found a way to do it, and my god, they delivered what I think is like a masterpiece of like a fun, bad, trashy anime. This show was incredible. It was so bad, but simultaneously it was also hilarious because the amount of moments that our two main characters interact with each other, the amount of times the main character May here forgets her goddamn glasses. My god, the glasses at one point could be at home, at her desk, at a park, at a fucking convention center, at a fucking train, at a car, at the beach. It is so fucking stupid to the point that it's like, man, they really found a way to like pan this shit out and stretch it out to 13 episodes. And also, they reuse a lot of the same shots from previous episodes because you can tell that a lot of the animation budget went onto making sure the characters look gorgeous and breathtaking when you look at them in these weird camera angle perspectives. And then you have the main guy, Kaede Kimura, who, as I mentioned in my worst anime of 2023, this dude is essentially what would happen if Kazuya became a middle schooler. This guy has like the lowest Riz ever. This guy's like speaking intelligence is about as bad as the main character from Watamode. Like this character is just so insufferable to watch at half the time, but god damn it, somehow, some way, he pairs up so well with our main girl here that it just erases all the bad things about the show and makes it so fun bad. So again, I still stand by what I said with when I made this pretty in the worst anime of 2023, and I still think that despite how bad the show was, this is also a huge contender now for best trash anime of 2023. And honestly, I really would have not mind putting this in the number one spot, believe it or not, given how stupid and my enjoyment of the show was still to this day. But there is one show out there that, for me, is absolutely incredible, broke the boundaries of what it means to have a harem of girls. And the second season also aired not that long ago this past year and actually crushed it. And at the moment, not only is that second season going to be a contender for Best Trash Anime of 2025, but this show completely crushed it first and foremost in 2023. And it is a show, when typing it right now, everyone should know at this point, the 100 Girlfriends Who Really, 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 Really Love You. Yes, this show. This show is absolutely incredible. I absolutely love this show. I think that the direction of what they did with the show, taking a simple premise and making sure that each character, at least from this first season, like they expand upon each character really well in like a fun, bad, trashy aspect, is still iconic, man. Every show that you've seen up until this point, I think, even in this type of genre, can never live up to 100 Girlfriends now. And with the second season being absolutely incredible, it's no surprise why the show was so big in the first place. From an amazing animation to back up from Billboard Animation Studios to characters that are so freaking recognizable that you would think that, okay, you have our main boy here, and then you have one, two, three, four, five, six plus characters, right? You would think that there would be too many characters for you to count and keep up. But no, like every character was fleshed out pretty well, respectfully. That reminds me of like a really classic anime with The World God Only Knows, but now it's like fully encapsulated into its final form here. And again, from what I've also heard too, the manga for this show is also absolutely incredible. It's actually still ongoing as of me recording this video. And with how great the first season was, it was a matter of time till we get a second season. And the second season of the show, which I talked about not that long ago earlier this year, is also incredible. It is absolutely amazing. This is without a doubt, again, I've already said already, but this is without a doubt definitely up there in the best trash anime of 2025. But it depends. Could this be a second repeat when we go into that list, of course? I don't know. But right now, I can comfortably say that, at least from the first season alone, this is by far the number one best trash anime to come out of 2023 alone. And yeah, that's about it. This is my top five right here. Weep it, reap it, seek it. Again, I have a ton of honorable mentions here if anyone's curious. But yeah, just want to talk about this once more. And that's about it. I'll see you all in the next one where I get to talk about and break down the top 10 best animes to come out of 2023 of that year. But yeah, I'll see you all in the next one. Later.